Diddy's judge, like I've been telling you guys from the beginning, does not like Diddy. I don't believe. I don't believe he likes Diddy's lawyers. There's something there. The judge who had the opportunity to free Diddy today, send him back home, let him go out on bail, and await sentencing for at least do a week at home. At least a week before he gets sentenced after he was found guilty of 2 counts of transportation for prostitution, to engage in prostitution, which he's facing 20 years on the 2 counts. The judge has the option to sentence him to up to 10 years in prison for each count, I should say. And there's no mandatory minimum, so it's all at the discretion of the judge. He had a chance to get out on bail today, but I think his lawyers got too loud, too arrogant, too quick. And I think that the commotion outside the courtroom is going to be damaging, is the best word that I could say. I think overall, Diddy should be celebrating because he's not going to do life in prison. He has a date. When you get incarcerated, they call that all day. If you got life, you got all day. But if you got a date, you to the house at some point. But the judge, I think that either he has something that he just doesn't like about Diddy, or maybe he's just doing what he truly believes is in the best interest of the general public. But the judge had a lot to say to Diddy about this bail hearing that he just had. And we just got the update about 4 or 5 minutes ago. And his bail was denied. And the judge said, you're going back to jail. And you're going to sit in jail until I decide how many years I'm going to give you. Now, I'm going to show you some of the stuff that Diddy's lawyer said in this live stream. It's a subscriber-only chat. So if you're not a subscriber, you can't be in the chat. I know people are saying that, I see in the chat, they're going to run 10 years concurrent. You have to, that's at the discretion of the judge. Right? So this is why you want to make sure that you're being very humble and very docile. Even though you did beat the charges that you wanted to beat. I think Diddy wanted to beat all the charges, but you really can't. He couldn't beat the transportation to engage in prostitution. Once you cross state lines, which I'll read the legal definition of the charges that he was convicted of, I don't think he thought he could beat that. But that being said, he beat the charges that he wanted to beat. Now, it's very important to understand, this is not a state case, this is a federal case. And a lot of people look at things from the perspective of their cousin that went to jail, or like me, I've been incarcerated early in my life. So we look at things, well, the judge got to run a concurrent. And by law, the judge does not have to run any sentence concurrently. They have discretion. So I want to be clear about that, because people think that judges are required to do. A judge can do whatever they want. That's why it's very important to be on a judge good side if you in a trial. Similarly to this bail being denied, which we're about to go through the details of it. But a judge, look it up if you want. That's just the law. The judge is not required to run sentences concurrently, so he still is facing 20 years in prison for the 2 counts that he's guilty of. But he beat the life sentence. So he beat the elbow, so that's a win. Now, that being said, God will not be mocked. That's scripture. That's Galatians chapter 6, verse 7. Do not be deceived. God will not be mocked. So you got to stay humble. He should stay humble, and his lawyer should stay humble. And I think his lawyer's arrogance and loud mouth sent him back to jail today when he had the chance to come home and spend time with his family for the next week before he's sentenced to however many years he's going to do. People saying he's going to get probation. Y'all out of y'all mind. Y'all out of y'all mind if you think that the federal government, who just, in my opinion, just lost. In my opinion. And the judge who has denied Diddy's bail 5 times now, if you add this current time, even though Diddy offered $50 million to turn over his jet, to turn over his passport, all different kind of stuff, and the judge still denies the bail, even after he beat the RICO, some people calling it the FRICO, even after he beat that charge, and even after he beat the trafficking charge, the judge still denying the bail, and y'all think he about to walk away with nothing, and the judge has the decision on how many years? Y'all tripping. Y'all tripping. But, we're going to jump into this, man. So as we start the live stream, you guys know how we start every live stream, subscriber only chat. Also, we start the live streams with a prayer. Keep it respectful in the chat with each other, or we're going to turn the chat off, or you'll get banned from the channel, never see content again. Let's start with this prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you, God, for another day. We ask that you bless everybody that are victims of the crimes we're about to talk about today. God, I ask that you bless everybody and give them the heart of repentance. Even in Diddy's case, God, I ask that you give him the heart of repentance. And God, I ask that you let us all work on our humility, and let us all work on our patience, and let us all work on our grace, and give traveling mercy to anybody that's going to and from while they're listening to this. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, man. So let's jump into the details. Let's see what's going on. Let's see what the judge said. Let's see what the lawyer said. Let's see what's going on. Urban Legend, y'all know what it is, man. Defense attorney for Sean Combs said he should be released today. Arrogant. So this is after. Now we're starting from the end of Diddy's trial. And just giving you guys a summary. He was found guilty on these two charges. Transportation to engage in prostitution for two people. Two separate charges. Now we're going to go through this. Diddy's lawyer probably was hyped up. You know what I mean? It felt like he won the Super Bowl because his fee just went up. By the way, these are articles that we read. We only have the information what the court presents to us and what the system gives us. So we only can read what they tell us. And we can make personal opinions and we can make determinations based on what they tell us, but we don't know until they tell us. So the article says that defense attorney Mark Agnifilo says that Sean Diddy Combs should be released on appropriate conditions in light of the fact that Combs has been acquitted on racketeering and sex trafficking. He says Combs would go back to his house in Miami and abide by conditions set by the court. Combs does not have access to his plane and his entire family is here. The lawyer said any five of them can sign on to a bond. His lawyer said, I want him released today. Making demands when somebody has been found guilty is ignorant. That just shows the level of arrogance. The judge then asked him when he made this demand, the judge said, quote, is your proposal that he leave this courtroom and just walk outside? And Diddy's lawyer said, that is my proposal. It is. So the judge probably scoffed at that and said, y'all go back and talk about it. I'll make a decision later. Now, obviously, the prosecution was like, we need to keep incarceration. We're seeking incarceration until he's sentenced. Right? And the prosecutor said she said that during the trial, they showed evidence of extensive abuse and prolific drug use that the defense did not contest. Basically, Diddy's lawyers didn't deny that he's violent. They didn't deny that he's a drug addict. Right? The prosecutor said Sean Diddy Combs continued to commit a litany of crimes after he knew he was under investigation. He committed crimes after he knew he was under investigation, she said. She then argued that Combs does not respect the law and he will likely commit new crimes if he was released today. She then confirmed that the government intends to seek a sentence of incarceration, and she reminded the court that Diddy still faces up to 20 years in prison for the two counts that he has been convicted of. Right? So the judge said, I'll make a decision later today. Go back, write me some letters. That's what he told Diddy's lawyer. That's what he told the prosecutor. He said, submit letters on your positions, and I'll think about the possibility after I go eat me a pizza. Hey, listen, man, these judges, they'll give you life, and then they'll throw your name in the same sentence as, what should I order from this Domino's tonight? What should Papa John's put on that pizza? What you want? You want what you want, pepperoncinis? Like these judges, bro, they be giving out football numbers and time like it's Tuesday lunch, Wednesday lunch. So the judge said, after I eat my pizza, I'm going to make a decision. I'll let y'all know. So they went back, they wrote letters, right? So then Diddy's lawyers started yapping, started doing all that wolfing, all that talking too much, just like some of y'all in the comment section. You know what I'm saying? And so his lawyer started speaking immediately in discussing a motion to release Diddy from custody. Diddy's lawyer told the judge that Sean Diddy Combs was looking at potentially spending the rest of his life in prison, but he was acquitted of the charges. He said, Mr. Combs has been given his life by this jury. That's what Diddy's lawyer said as a quote. He said that it would be nothing short of a fool. He would be nothing short of a fool if he violated any conditions set by the court if he was released. This is a quote. He said, he treasures, I assure you, the opportunity that he has been given, and he will not run afoul of anything this court imposes on him. So that's what Diddy's lawyer said. And obviously the judge is not going to believe that, because the day that Diddy was arrested, the very same day, they caught him about to have a freak off in that hotel room the day he was arrested. After knowing that they raided his houses, after knowing that his kids was outside handcuffed, after knowing that the feds was after him. After all that, the same day, they caught him with drugs, guns, and a bunch of Astroglide and baby oil in his hotel room. And I think there's a hotel that's suing him right now for this. So the same day. So the judge probably like, yeah, bro, you talking about he ain't worried about, or he ain't gonna do nothing to disrespect the court. But he was, I don't know. And then you got to think, the judge, one of the times that the judge denied bail for Diddy was because he was calling witnesses from the jail phone, allegedly. That's what the judge said in court. And the report said that. Said he was calling witnesses from the jail phone from somebody else's PIN number. And that got his bail denied while he was in jail. So he's done stuff throughout the trial to make the judge probably feel like, nah, this dude don't respect me. He don't respect the court. So here's the arrogance. After the verdict, Diddy faced the courtroom gallery and clapped. So Diddy turned around. Once they said guilty of these two, not guilty of these 3 or 4, he turned around and started clapping. You tripping, bro. You supposed to, we gonna do that when we get back to the house. We got all night to celebrate and throw baby oil parties. Let's do that. Let's get back to the house. He tripping. So he turned around in front of the judge in the courtroom and started clapping. Right? Then he was led out by the marshals, the report says. It said before he was led out by the marshals, he knelt down in front of the chair and bowed his head like he was praying. When he stood up, Combs faced the gallery and clapped, prompting the gallery to clap and cheer. So he hyped up the crowd. And the judge is looking at all this, man. Mind you, you're still convicted. And the judge is looking at all this. So he tripping. Then Diddy's attorneys all exchanged hugs as the gallery continued to cheer for them. Combs faced his family with his face beaming. He said, thank you, love you, mom. I love you, I love you, I love you. That's rightfully so. I mean, you beat a life sentence, you're going to be happy. I don't care what nobody says. I don't care if you get 5, 10, 15. As long as you don't get life. That's a win in his situation. Because it is the feds. Said his family and friends erupted into applause. Some family members wiped tears from their eyes. After Combs left the courtroom, went back to his cell, the family section started chanting, "Dream team, dream team, dream team," to the lawyers who slapped each other on the back and embraced. Defense attorney Tenny Garagos hugged members of Diddy's family with tears rolling down her face. Cool. You got to think, they're doing this in front of the judge who's about to sentence this man and about to decide. So the judge is sitting back looking at it. Like, wow, y'all really are arrogant. He's convicted. You got to think, these judges don't come from our world, man. They don't come from the hood. They don't come from our backgrounds, where we come from. We make our success, and we got to get it from the mud. They come from going to school, structure. My lawyer said this once to me. She was like, you got to understand, when you're facing these charges, when you're walking in these rooms, these are scholars. They don't have any real understanding. Some of these guys don't even have understanding. Some of these women as well don't have understanding of real life. So they don't see scenarios the way you see scenarios. My lawyer told me that once. So I always keep that in my mind. Like, dang, she right. It may be a real scenario. Like, nah, I didn't rob him. He was put his phone on my face. I snatched it out of his hand. That's robbery. You feel what I'm saying? Or certain ways we look at crimes, they just don't look at it. So the judge is sitting back looking at Diddy's family cheering, chanting in the courtroom. You know what I'm saying? He's looking at the reaction of the fans outside, people squirting baby oil in the air, pause, outside the courthouse. The judge got to walk to his car now. Consider that. He's seeing all this. He's going to get on social media, quiet as it's kept, because these are still human beings. He's going to get on social media. He's going to scroll. He's going to see, oh, wow. No, I'm not laughing at Diddy. I'm just laughing at how the scenario plays out in my mind. The judge gonna get on that Instagram and, oh wow, y'all really think? All right. So it's best to be humble in these situations. He's not gonna punish Diddy for what the public does. And I'm not saying that. I'm just saying for Diddy and Diddy's lawyers, chill out. You know what I'm saying? And Diddy's family as well. You got to chill out because you don't know what they're gonna do next. So Cassie's lawyer, she put a statement out through her lawyer, and he responded on behalf of her. And Cassie's lawyer said Cassie Ventura paved the way for a jury to find Diddy Combs guilty on some of the counts against him. He said this entire criminal process started when our client, Cassie, had the courage to file her civil complaint in November 2023. Although the jury did not find Combs guilty of trafficking, Cassie is beyond a reasonable doubt. Trafficking Cassie beyond a reasonable doubt. She paved the way for a jury to find him guilty of transportation to engage in prostitution. He continued on, said, by coming forward with her experience, Cassie has left an indelible mark on both entertainment industry and the fight for justice. The lawyer said Ventura and her exemplary courage throughout the trial brought attention to the realities of powerful men in our orbit and the misconduct that has persisted for decades without repercussion. Right? So Cassie's lawyer is basically like, we didn't get what we want, but we got something, and it's a step in the right direction. Right? Now, obviously, the R. Kelly questions is going to start coming up. That's a whole different thing. This is how they said Diddy reacted. I'm going to put it on the full screen. This is how they said Diddy reacted when the verdict came in. Right? Lawyers hugging. You know, and 1 second. Let me put my phone on D&D. Lawyers hugging like they're supposed to. They did their job. Right? And they feel like, okay, cool. Because if you don't get Diddy out, you probably never work again. And like nobody successful is going to want to hire you. But especially with the Brian Steele, who was Young Thug's lawyer, who got him the plea deal that he got. And then his fee just went super high in the hip hop community. Salute to Brian Steele doing his job. Anyways, so obviously Diddy, has some emotion. And so moving forward, they had this bail hearing. Now it was time to, okay, cool. How can we get Diddy home is what his lawyer started focusing on. And outside of the courthouse, this report says that the presence of the NYPD was starting to grow. Obviously, the crowds are going to be there. His family going to be walking out. Everybody going to be running through there, trying to get a picture or trying to get, just trying to say I was there. And so the NYPD, and I want you guys to, I'm noting that. I'm not skipping over that because I want you guys to understand the judge is seeing all this and he has to make a decision on sentencing. He has to make a decision. He hasn't made one decision in Diddy's favor yet. So just remember that the scripture says, Galatians 6:7, do not be deceived. God will not be mocked. So we're going to see. I've seen people saying he going to get probation. Y'all are out of your mind. If he gets probation, I'm going to come on here and say, I'm completely shocked. I don't have no clue how the justice system works. Not that I want him to, go to jail. I don't wish jail on anybody, but they shouldn't wish it on themselves. Don't do stupid stuff. You won't go to jail. I've been to jail. I know. You don't do stupid stuff. You don't go to jail. Stay out of trouble. You feel me? Do right. So, the U.S. attorney made a statement, and let's see, who is this? Oh, wow. The U.S. attorney for the New York Southern District, whose office prosecuted Diddy for this trial, and Ricky Patel, the special agent in charge of the Homeland Security investigation in the New York field office, they both made statements after the verdict. This is their quote. It says, sex crimes deeply scar victims, and the disturbing reality is that sex crimes are all too present in many aspects of our society. Victims endure gut-wrenching physical and mental abuse, leading to lasting trauma. New Yorkers and all Americans want this scourge stopped and perpetrators to be brought to justice. Prosecuting sex crimes requires brave victims to come forward and tell harrowing stories. We and our law enforcement partners recognize the hardships victims endure, and we have prioritized victim-centered approach to investigating and prosecuting these cases. Today, we recognize the important work of the SDNY's Civil Rights Unit, as well as the tireless efforts of the women and the men in HSI Homeland Security investigations, who are devoted to combating human trafficking. We thank special agents from the U.S. Attorney's Office and complex analytics and social media enhancement case team. By the way, they watching you on social media. They just told you. They analyzing all social media stuff. So just pay attention to that just for yourself. They thanked all these people. And they said, we would also like to thank our partners at the NYPD for their assistance in this matter and sharing our victim-centered approach to combating sex crimes. You got to think, when Diddy is doing all the extras, or his family, or whoever's doing all the extras in court, his lawyers, whatever they doing, you got to think, when they got to put NYPD outside, the Fed's going to put pressure on the judge about that. Hey, look at the commotion that's causing. Look at the arrogance. Look at this. Look at that. He has no remorse. There's no nothing. He just admitted to you that he did all these crimes and there's no nothing. He don't feel nothing. That's how they're going to play it behind them scenes. And then the judge is going to determine, how many years should I give him? What's the max I can give him again? 20? How old is he? 55? 55. If I give him 20, he'll be home at 75. If I give him 15, he'll be home at 70. If I give him, is he going to learn his lesson in 10 years? Is he going to learn his lesson? If I give him 2 years, is he going to learn his lesson? That's all the judge is going to be doing. That's all the judge is going to be doing. So that has to be considered, right? So we got to be humble if you Diddy, and if you Diddy's lawyers, and if you Diddy's family. Don't do the cheering. I would have got on my family head. I'm not going to lie. Hey, y'all chill out. Y'all chill out with all that cheering and stuff, bro. This is serious. That's how I'd have played it. I'd have put the mask on in court. I'd have made it like I'm on the judge side. Hey, y'all, stop that. Stop that now. I'd have went straight old school. Stop it. Stop cheering. Don't clap for me. This is serious. And I respect victims of these crimes. That if I was Diddy, I'd have turned it on. I'm not going to lie. Just so the judge has some leniency on me. Because it is all coming down to the leniency. He is convicted and he is considered guilty on 2 things. Now, not the most serious things, but they're all serious charges. Facing 20 years, that ain't no light charge. You still facing some time. They said baby oil was sprayed into the crowds outside the courthouse. Some people gathered outside the courthouse after Sean Diddy Combs' verdict and were seen spraying baby oil into the crowd. Remnants of the oil could be seen on the courthouse pavement. You think the judge ain't going to look at that? Y'all mocking the court, thinking y'all being funny. You're going to get this man time. Chill out. When the judge got to come out there and see that the courthouse staff is out there cleaning baby oil off the pavement before his case, and he got to decide a sentence next week. Man. So it said Combs' alleged use of the baby oil during the freak-offs was brought up frequently during the trial. Obviously, people know why people are spraying baby oil all over the pavement, trying to be funny. Right? So Combs' sentence could be in the realm of time served, the legal analysts say. So some people are saying, don't be surprised if at some point this afternoon we see Sean Combs walking out of the doors. If this was just some run-of-the-mill unknown New Yorker who had been convicted of what we call the Mann Act, non-forcible interstate prostitution, maybe he will walk away today. But because it's Sean Combs, he has been behind bars for nearly a year. Maybe, so this legal analyst was completely wrong. The judge was like, nah. So they explained why the jury came to the verdict that they came to as well. They said the complex nature of Combs' relationships is likely what got the jury hung up on, or what the jury got hung up on. I believe that too. I believe that, you can't really determine when Cassie stopped wanting it and when she started, or when the Jane Doe stopped wanting it and when she started. Because y'all understand saying, well, I started wanting it, then I stopped, then I started again, and then I stopped because I was in love with them. Well, it's really hard to determine for the jury. So we can't convict the person if you wasn't 100% sure in those moments. Now, I understand what the prosecutor would say is, hey, if there was one time that they didn't want to, then that's guilty. But I also can understand that being a slippery slope for the jury, because it's like, bro, well, if we convict him here, we set a precedent that if somebody say at one time, well, that night I didn't want to, but then you did it 10 times after. So it's a difficult thing for the jury to go. They might feel like, yeah, he did. It was wrong that time that he did it. But if you didn't go back 10 times, Cassie, or if you didn't go back 10 times, Jane, maybe I'm trying to think at least from how maybe the jury saw it. You know what I'm saying? So maybe that was the situation. Now, the judge this is before he made the decision, the judge was expected to decide if Combs should be released while he awaited sentencing, right? And Combs' defense team argued that Combs should be released in light of the fact that he was acquitted on the serious charges, which is the racketeering and the sex trafficking. They said Combs would go back to his house in Miami and abide by the conditions set by the court. The prosecutors said they opposed the possible release of Diddy Combs. So the judge said submit the letters. Now we kind of caught up. Let's talk about what happened with this bail hearing, right? Now, they also broke down the conviction, and we'll get back into that in a second, because they broke down what his charges were, what was the stories behind the charges and all that stuff. I don't think we even really need to get back to that, low key. We kind of understand. The prostitutes got on the stand. They said, yes, Diddy paid me $6,000 to fly out of here, fly in there, go to this hotel, go to that hotel. That's what he was convicted of. We're going to cut across the grass with it, right? So here was something that I thought was really interesting. While the judge was sitting around trying to make a decision, eating his Papa John's pizza for lunch, trying to decide if he's going to give a man 20 years or 5 years or 10 years or 2 years or probation or whatever he's going to do before he plays golf the next day, Cassie's friend wrote a letter to the judge expressing her, quote, grave concern about Diddy being released. The prosecutor's letter detailed why they opposed the release of Sean Diddy Combs while he awaits sentencing. And it included a note from Deontay Nash, a celebrity stylist and friend of Cassie, who also testified during the trial. In this celebrity stylist letter, he addressed the judge and expressed a, quote, grave concern, and said, while I appreciate the fairness you have shown throughout the proceeding, I feel compelled to be unequivocal about the danger he poses to the public and to the individuals who have risked everything by coming forward. He continued on and said, Mr. Combs has a long, well-documented history of violent, coercive, and retaliatory behavior over the years. He has repeatedly escaped meaningful accountability. I agree with that. And each time, this has only reinforced his sense of impunity. I agree with that too. Every time Diddy get away with something, he gets more arrogant. The guy said, if he is released now, I have no doubt he will see it as yet another license to continue to be intimidating, threatening, and harming people who challenge or expose him. During his testimony, Nash said on multiple occasions that he saw Cassie assaulted by Diddy and heard him threaten her to withhold her music or release tapes of her. So Diddy's lawyer asked for a $1 million bond to the judge. They said, can you give me a $1 million bond? Right? Diddy's defense team submitted a letter to the judge asking that Combs be released on these conditions. The letter proposed a $1 million bond co-signed by Diddy, his mother, his sister, and the mother of his oldest daughter. Combs' travel be restricted to parts of Florida, California, New York, and New Jersey. So they still wanted Diddy to be able to fly around and do what he want, which is crazy. Like, y'all, so that's just arrogant, bro. At least be like, you know what, just restrict me to one home. I want to go to Miami. I'll be back. You know what I mean? Don't be like, yo, I need to fly to Florida, California, New York, and New Jersey. No. No, fool. No, you convicted. It shows you the level of entitlement. I beat 2 charges, so on that third one, just let me do what I want. No. And obviously he has homes in all those states. But the latter 2 states, which is New York and New Jersey, will cover visits with attorney and attendance in court, which is all you really need, technically. You know, the surrender of Combs' passports was a condition. The drug testing by pretrial services. So basically, he'll submit to drug testing, and all other standard conditions of pretrial supervision. So everything else that everybody else gets in terms of bail. The problem is Diddy's lawyers were acting like he wasn't on that tape beating the crap out of that girl, or that multiple people didn't come forward, even his own employees coming forward saying, yes, he's violent. Yes, he's this. Yes, he did do that. Diddy's lawyer is acting like the judge didn't hear the security guard say, yes, Diddy paid me $100,000 to get rid of the evidence. Diddy's lawyer is acting like the judge didn't hear the LAPD and the LA Fire Department agent come forward and testify. LAPD came forward. They came into court and testified during the trial and said, yes, we tried to go back and get the evidence, but we believe that Diddy had paid somebody to get rid of it in the LAPD. So the judge heard all that. Cassie Ventura believes that Diddy poses a quote, danger to the victims who testified. Her lawyer tells the judge. So Cassie's lawyer submitted a letter to the judge. This all happened within a couple hours, man, right after Diddy was sentenced. It said Cassie's lawyer submitted a letter to the judge and asked him to deny the defense's request that Diddy could be released from custody while awaiting sentencing. He said, quote, Miss Ventura believes that Mr. Combs is likely to pose a danger to the victims who testified in this case, including herself, as well as to the community. I know a lot of us don't see Cassie as a victim, right, in the public. We see like, man, you was kind of complicit. I've been saying that since day one. I think personally, I just think that Cassie, maybe she was groomed into it, but I do think she used it for her benefit when it was right for her, right? I don't think she's 100% a victim, but I think she was victimized at times, yes. But that being said, he's convicted of transportation to engage in prostitution. She was a victim listed under that charge. To the judge, Cassie is 100% a victim. He was convicted, and she's the victim of one of his crimes, of the crime he was convicted of. So when she writes a letter, this is why it's important that her lawyer wrote a letter, because the judge has to consider that, well, this is the victim of the crime. And if she's scared, I have to consider that. Now, we may not publicly in the comment section, we may be like, oh, I don't know, Cassie was kind of, I don't know. The judge don't care. He got to go by the legal letter of the law. Right? So, they said that it's a circus outside the courthouse. Obviously, you got a bunch of ignorant people. The reason I don't like this, and I think majority of people are stupid. I'm gonna be real with y'all. I think a person is smart. I think people are dumb. And if you even look at this picture, look at the faces of these people. And I think the majority of people, and let's get their face documented. Hold on. I think the majority of people don't have no sense of conviction when it comes to God. I think they don't care how they're viewed. I think they don't even consider it. So some people out there, you can see them holding their phones up. They really think that this is a social media comment section moment. You smiling, bro. This man was on video. You can say whatever you want. Diddy was on video doing some crazy stuff. And as a man, I'm not going out no courthouse to celebrate nobody that was sitting in the corner waiting for semen to be poured on his nipples, because that was alleged, and I'm not making that up. That's what Diddy was accused of doing in the freak offs, and they said that the jury seen it on tape, which is disgusting. You waiting on another man to smash your girl, and come on, dog, and turn you on with it. Come on, dog. I'm not celebrating no man that beats the crap out of a woman the way that man beat the crap out of that woman on video, and the way other women we can imagine that said that, yeah, he did it to me too. We can imagine that stuff wasn't on camera. I'm not celebrating that. This is not the homie from down the street that was wrongly convicted, or that you know, the kid from the neighborhood that he was just a kid and they sentenced him to life in prison at 14 years old. This is not a social justice hero. Let's be clear about that. Diddy ain't no social justice warrior. This dude is somebody that was using every little resource that he had to do the weirdest, craziest stuff. So while I don't wish jail on nobody, because it is hell, and it's concrete hell, and it is a hard place for a human being to survive, and he going to the feds, I also don't condone the idiots that are outside the courthouse being what they are. You know what I'm saying? So, and some people look at it like this is my chance to go viral. I go viral all the time. So maybe I just view it differently. I just know that don't really change your life. I don't know what people, I don't know. But some people worship an opportunity to do some views. So maybe that's part of it. I don't know. This world is different. We was raised different. So members of Diddy's family went back to the courthouse for the bail hearing because the bail hearing was scheduled for the same day. We're going to decide right now. And the a victim's right attorney also expressed concern about Diddy being released, said, I'm very concerned about Mr. Combs being released on bail, which is a possibility at the time. Now it's obviously denied. But everybody was concerned about this. We're not going to read no more letters. Everybody was concerned about this. So then it came in about an hour ago that the judge denied the bail for Diddy Combs. And that's where we are currently, right? And it says that this is what the judge said. Said Combs has demonstrated a disregard for the rule of law and a propensity of violence. That's what the judge said. That's a quote, a direct quote from the judge. He said, you've demonstrated a disregard for the law, and you have a propensity of violence. And y'all think that judge is about to give Diddy probation? Y'all out of y'all goddamn mind. Excuse my language. Judges, they judges. They're not homeboys. They're not social media content creators. They're not somebody with a comment section. You talking about he going home tonight? You're a fool. He's not going home tonight. And the judge just, somebody in the comments said, look it up. Bro, I'm looking at it. We are looking it up. Genius. He's not going home. And that's not because, and I'm not celebrating him going to jail. It's just common sense is not common, man. What is you talking about? Combs, the judge is ripping him. He said, bro, you arrogant. That's what the judge is essentially saying right here. You arrogant. You think you are above the law. You think rules don't apply to you. And you're a violent, arrogant dude. He said you have a propensity of violence. That means a lot. That means you demonstrate that quality a lot, not just once or twice. You have a propensity of it. This is a direct quote. This is not my words. This is what the judge said. So the judge said he denied bail for Sean Diddy Combs when it wasn't mandatory before the trial. Didn't I just say that? He said it wasn't mandatory for me to deny it before you was going to trial. I chose to. This is what the judge said. And he said, quote, and now I still see no reason to reach the opposite conclusion now. He said before the trial, I denied it. I had a choice then. He said, I don't see no reason to change it now. Give me a reason. So even in writing the letters, hit that like button, get the likes up. And it is a live chat. Even in requiring the defense and the prosecution to write letters to the judge already knew what decision he was going to make. He just had to go by the, what's the word I'm looking for? It's like, it means procedures, but it's another word for it. I can't think of it right now. He's just going by procedure, and he going, yeah, okay. So you should have known. Diddy's lawyer should have known when the judge said, so what, you think I should just let him walk out the court right now? We can't hear the tone, but we can hear the tone in that, right? When we just read the article. Formality. Thank you. It's a formality. So when he said submit them letters, what Diddy's lawyer said, you need to let him out right now. He needs to go home now. Judge like, bro, he's convicted. He's guilty. What are you talking about? So the judge looking at him like, so what, you think I should just let him out? What, I'm supposed to let him walk out the courtroom right now? And Diddy's lawyer like, he humbled himself. It wasn't the same tone in the response that it was like, yes, Your Honor. I think that's right. Yes, I think that's correct. And the judge, all right, write a letter about it. Waste your time like you're trying to waste mine. They submit the letters, and by the way, the feds are so prepared, they already had letters ready for this exact situation. So they submitted their letter plus letters from other people, victims that testified. He is convicted. Those are considered victims by the law. Now, we may not feel like they're victims, but, I don't feel like the people that I was working for them are victims, but the law is going to consider them victims. They got immunity. So the judge continued to rip Diddy apart. And he began quoting the defense at different instances. The judge began quoting Diddy's lawyers at different instances when the lawyers acknowledged Diddy's violence towards his former girlfriends. He said, quote, At the trial, this is a quote from the judge. At the trial, the defense conceded that the defendant has violence in personal relationships, saying, quote, it happened in relation to Cassie and Jane. That's what the judge said. That was a quote. He said there was also evidence and illegal conduct after the searches on Combs' homes. This is what the judge talking about. He said when he was aware he was under investigation. He said this highlights a disregard for the rule of law and a propensity of violence. Basically, I'm gonna summarize. I'm gonna reposition or I'm gonna restate what the judge said in layman's terms, in my own words, right? He said, bro, on one hand, y'all talking about during the trial, y'all was saying that Diddy did all the violent stuff and y'all wasn't tripping on that. But it wasn't racketeering and it wasn't trafficking. But he was violent. And they did say that. You guys know if you've been watching the content, I reported on that. I thought it was a stupid closing statement. They didn't think it through. They just thought about getting Diddy not guilty. So when they was talking to the jury in closing statements, Diddy's lawyers, they didn't realize they were talking to the judge too. So the judge like, yo, during closing statements and during the entire trial, you said that that y'all had no problem with admitting that he was violent to Cassie and violent to the Jane. So what are you tripping? Why y'all talking? What are y'all talking about? He should go home. He said, I'm gonna quote y'all. That's what the judge said. I'm gonna quote y'all. This is what y'all said. And then he said, and then the judge went on to say there was also violence and illegal conduct after the searches on his homes. After we sent the Homeland Security out to raid his homes, he continued to be violent and continued to have illegal conduct. And the judge said this happened when he was aware that he was under investigation. He said this highlights a disregard of the rule of law and a propensity of violence. So the judge proposed that they sentence Diddy in October. Jeez, man. Go back to jail to October 3rd. The judge said he proposed a sentencing date of October 3rd, but he said he's willing to move up the sentencing date at the defense's request. That's not good. That's not good. That's not good for Diddy. The judge said, yo, let me look at my calendar. I ain't tripping. I'm gonna send you back because you about to do a lot of time anyway, so you got all the time in the world. Y'all talking about he going home on I seen a legal analyst say Diddy might go home on time served. You out of your goddamn mind too. You out of your goddamn mind too. He might go home on time served. The judge said send him back to October. I ain't tripping. I'm gonna give him a few years. I'm gonna give him some time to think about it. Why it's important to note before we even move to that, why it's important to note that the judge is talking about the disregard of the rule of law and the propensity of violence, the quote that he put out, the statement he made, I should say, is because if he's thinking that now, he's thinking that about the sentence. This is a violent dude. He doesn't care about the law. I'm sending him to jail. He's not going home. He said, I had a chance. This is a quote from the judge. I had a chance to send you home before the trial started. I said no. Why should I change that now? Go back to jail and wait till October. I'll think about it. And what we got on the calendar? He gonna talk to his clerk. What we got on the calendar? What date we got open? October 3rd. It could be earlier. I said it for October 3rd. He got time. And then say, hey, to Diddy's lawyers, the article says that to Diddy's lawyers, the judge said, I'm willing to move it up if you want. Basically, if you want me to sentence him to 10 years now or 15 years later, it's up to you. What you want? I already got it in my head what I'm gonna do. He's a human being. These ain't robots. Defense attorney Mark Agnafilo, Diddy's lawyer, said they would like to expedite the sentencing schedule as much as possible. He said the defense is willing to waive a pre-sentencing investigation to expedite the sentencing schedule if the judge is open to it. I don't know that that's a good sign. I don't know. So Diddy's lawyer said, yeah, expedite it. Please move it up as fast as possible. We want to find out. And maybe that's just, we don't want to keep our client anxious. Right? And then the prosecutor argued and said the court doesn't have enough information to skip the pre-sentencing investigation. So the prosecutor, the feds, said, given the complexity of the trial and the disparity between the parties' positions on sentencing guidelines range, she doesn't believe the court has enough information to sentence Diddy without the pre-sentencing investigation. So the prosecutor, like, give us some time. We want to do some work and see if we can get him more time. Diddy's lawyers like, we don't want to give them no time to do that work. Let's try to get him sentenced as quickly as possible. The prosecutor said the government is willing, the feds are willing to work with the defense to move the process forward as quickly as possible. Diddy's lawyer suggested waiving the pre-sentencing investigation in order to expedite the sentencing schedule, but then and said that the defense believes it has strong arguments to make on Combs' behalf for a sentence below the guidelines. So they said we don't want to go off. Basically, Diddy's lawyers are saying we don't want to go off the minimums for these crimes. We don't want to go off the guidelines for these crimes. We don't care about the point system. We want to forget the point system. We want to kind of determine what he should be sentenced to based on what we think. Still arrogant. Still arrogant. The judge continued to rip Diddy after that and said, this judge is about to sentence Diddy to some time because his lawyer is an idiot. Forgive me, that's my opinion. I think Diddy's lawyer kind of lucked up. I don't think that Diddy's lawyer won this. I think that the feds lost it, in my opinion. You know, Diddy's lawyer didn't do the work to win this trial for Diddy. It wasn't because he was so great. It was because the feds didn't do a good job of clearly. I think their closing argument was good, but I think that they didn't clearly help us understand at what point did Cassie stop wanting this and what point did she think it was okay and what point did she decide to continue. We didn't know. Same thing with the Jane. We didn't know. So if you throw those two things out, then the racketeering has to go out. If you throw the trafficking out, the racketeering has to go out. So the judge continued to rip Diddy's lawyers and said, you fully throwed it. This is a quote from him. You fully throwed it. I ain't never heard nobody say full-throatedly in the most ironically hilarious way. Full-throatedly is hilarious to say as a judge in this case. No Diddy. Bro said, you full-throatedly, this is a quote from him, in your closing argument, told the jury that there was violence here. In other words, you were arrogant about it. You said it with your chest. That's what the judge is saying. Is full-throatedly a term in other communities? I don't know. In our community, that's kind of crazy. He said, I'm going to keep saying it. He said, you full-throatedly, in your closing argument, told the jury that there was violence here, the judge said to Diddy's lawyers. He said, and domestic violence is violence. And you said that this is a case that did involve violence. Diddy's lawyer responded that there's only been one evidence of an instance of violence since 2018. He said, and it was a June 2024 altercation with Jane. So in June 2024, he said, well, yeah, there was violence, but that's old stuff. That happened last June. And Diddy's lawyer said that Combs also entered a batterers program after the Intercontinental Hotel surveillance footage was released in 2024. He said, well, he took a program after he beat the crap out of Cassie. He did take a program. And the judge probably looking at like, okay, he took a program and then he beat somebody else up. He beat another woman up last year. What are you talking about? What does that program have to do with anything? He said, Diddy's lawyer said Jane, the victim, helped Combs write the letter to get into the program. And that's the woman that he was proven to have beat up last June. So Diddy said he is a man in the process of working on himself. And the judge probably like, bro, what are you talking about? Go work on yourself in jail. You can take a program in jail, bro. What are you talking about? Yeah, he took a program after he beat Cassie up, and then what? He beat up Jane in June 2024. And this is Diddy's lawyer. This is why I say Diddy's lawyer is he's just arrogant. And the judge is telling him, you're arrogant. Full-throatedly is crazy, though. Am I wrong? Full-throatedly is like, huh? Combs said, I want to speak with the judge. So Diddy requested to speak with the judge directly. Basically, I thought I was manipulating you, and I see that it's not working. So this lawyer's an idiot. Let me talk to you personally and tell you what you need to do. It's the arrogance, bro. That's what's gonna get him. That's what's gonna get him. I'm telling y'all. The Bible says, Galatians 6:7, do not be deceived. God will not be mocked. That means it's going to be a situation that looks deceiving. And God warned us about it. And I'm not talking about like the Bible's written about this situation. I'm just saying in general, situations are going to be deceiving. And it's going to seem like, man, God, you just letting this happen? And God said, do not be deceived. He's not mocked. Gotta remember it, man. Gotta remember it. Do not be deceived. That's Galatians chapter 6, verse 7. God bigger than all that. Don't be sitting there praying like God got you off. Don't be sitting there in the court putting on a show. Don't mock God. And you never know. God might have created a situation where, man, I told y'all the scripture, bro. It's Ecclesiastes chapter 2, verse 26. And for the one, it says, for the one who pleases him, God has given wisdom, knowledge, and joy. But for the sinner, God has given the business of gathering and collecting, only to give to the one who does please God. God may have created a situation where, look, we're not going to put Diddy, I'm not going to allow him to go to jail for these other charges because the money that he has is going to benefit somebody else. And if he goes to jail for those charges, all those things get seized. I don't know how God works, but I'm just saying this could be something that God was like, I'm going to do it like this. He's still going to do time. Don't worry. But I'm not going to allow everybody else that was blessed by the things that I allowed him to have to suffer as well because he went to jail. So not guilty on these charges. You're going to jail for this. So anyways, that maybe that, I don't know. And I don't claim to have the knowledge of what God does or how God does things. I'm just considering all angles, right? So Diddy requested to speak with the judge, and he pressed his lawyers and said, you need to let me talk to the judge directly. So Diddy's lawyer said, Your Honor, excuse me, Mr. Combs wants to talk to you. And is that okay? And I just think that that's insane in itself. What is you doing, bro? So, let's see what this says. The prosecutor then rebutted and said that the judge is correct in his decision to keep Diddy Combs in detention, calling him an extremely violent man with a dangerous temper. What's exceptional about Diddy Combs, the prosecutor said, is his wealth, his violence, and his brazenness. He's an extremely violent man with an extraordinarily dangerous temper who has shown no remorse and no regret for his multiple victims. Diddy's lawyer appealed to the judge one more time and saying in part, listening to Mrs. Comey makes me appreciate that we have juries. So Diddy's lawyer is just on a high of, I beat a Rico, because that's all he care about. He ain't even thinking about his client right now. He thinking about how great he is, and he getting his client jammed up by displaying all that arrogance, tripping. So the judge then confirmed that the bail is denied and sets a hearing on the sentencing schedule for next week. So this is where I say Diddy's lawyer is going to get him the max because he's stupid, in my opinion. The judge said, okay, after hearing them go back and forth and hearing Diddy's lawyer say the stuff that he said to the prosecutor, oh, well, that's why we have juries and all this arrogant stuff. Diddy want to talk to you personally and all this stupid stuff that the defense is saying and that Diddy's family is doing in front of the judge. The judge said, you know what? We don't have to wait till October. I'm going to sentence him next week. Do y'all think that's a good sign or a bad sign? I don't know. This trial has had a lot of twists and turns. Twists and turns, but I don't know. So Diddy didn't get to talk to the judge. The article says that Diddy's lawyer said, I'll just see what he has to say to you first. So I guess Diddy was like pressing him in the moment, like, oh, I want to talk to the judge right now. So Diddy's lawyer had to go ask him, but he said, I'll talk to him and I'll see what he wants him to say. My bad, I didn't finish that point. So the judge confirmed that the bail was denied, and he scheduled a remote hearing for next Tuesday at 2 p.m. to address the sentencing scheduling. Okay, my bad. So he's not going to sentence him next week. He's going to address the schedule. So do we want to do it in October? He said, I'm going to do it from a remote. So the judge left the bench. My bad. So the judge confirmed that the bail was denied, and he set the hearing to schedule sentencing for next week. Correction. And obviously, Diddy, when the bail got denied, his mouth dropped and his eyes widened. So everybody said, or the reports are saying that Diddy was completely shocked that he's not going home. Go. So basically, it's like, bro, the arrogance. It's just the arrogance again. He thought he was going home. He took so much so that you expected you were going home that he already started visualizing himself at home. And when the judge said, go back to jail and I'll let you know in October, what is it, July? It's July right now. So what is that? 3 months? Go wait 3 months and I'll tell you if you got 15, 25, 10. I'll decide. When you go to jail, it's such a slow process, man. Going to jail is slow. Getting out of jail is slow. It's all slow. They say you're not even going to come to court. Said it's a bad sign. Y'all saying a remote hearing. Diddy not even coming to court? Facts. So remote hearing to address the schedule. Yep. He'll be in court for sentencing, but he's not going to be in court for the when they determine. So basically, which is kind of sucks for Diddy because there's going to be another hearing scheduled for us to determine a date for another hearing. So for the lawyers, they go home. It's nothing for the lawyers and the judge because they get to go home and, eat pizza with the family and jump in the pool and go to the beach. It's summertime and they about to go out and, have fun. Even Diddy's lawyers. All right, cool. We did something. So cool. He can't say nothing. He can't say we did nothing. He can't sue us because you could sue for this type of stuff. If he would have got convicted on everything, he could have probably sued them for negligence. But, he can't do that. And everybody goes home and Diddy goes back to his cell and sits for 3 months. And even the hearing next week is like, yeah, they haven't even nailed down that it's going to happen in October. So it's like it can happen in October, it can happen a little earlier, it can happen in August. We don't know. So Diddy got to go back to jail and you still in jail, bro. So the report said that the letter detailing Cassie's feelings had an effect on the judge's bail decision. Said the letter from Cassie's lawyer sent to the judge asking him to deny the defense's request that Sean Diddy Combs be released from custody may have had an impact on the judge's decision to keep Combs in custody. The letter stated that Cassie believed that Diddy was likely to pose a danger to the victims who testified in the case, including herself. And obviously, a lot of people in these law rooms and the legal analysts and different things like that, people working for the media, they said that they feel like that letter had a huge effect on the judge. I believe so too, because despite what we feel about Cassie, or what, not even we, I won't even say, because some of y'all just stupid, but despite what a lot of people might feel about Cassie, legally, she is a victim of the crime that he was convicted of. So the judge has to consider that. The Don Richards attorney called the verdict a disappointment, said today's split verdict is a disappointment, but the criminal charges are different than the civil claims we filed and have been fighting against Sean Combs. We will continue to aggressively fight our case until we obtain full and complete justice for Don. Diddy's attorneys started talking again after the judge left the bench. And if you don't think that the judge can easily just open up his phone and look at these articles the same way, just because the judge left the bench don't mean that it's over with, bro. So what I'm saying in terms of Diddy's lawyers doing too much yapping, be quiet, bro. So Diddy's lawyer made another statement after the judge left the bench for the day. And he said Diddy will get his life back. After the judge left the bench, Diddy's lawyers started turning to Diddy's supporters. He told them the United States District Court never loses racketeering cases. He told them that Combs showed up and he wasn't afraid. So he went outside wolfing at the feds. They never lose cases, and Diddy was still not afraid. He's just pumping himself up. And him and his arrogance, he about to get Diddy jammed up for more time. Diddy going to jail. Diddy's sitting in jail right now while we talking. And you out there pumping it up like you the big dog. Now I get it. You beat a racketeering case, you should be hyped. But you still got to be professional and humble about it. And the arrogance is exactly why the judge didn't give Diddy his bail today. Diddy could have went home today had he not had this super arrogant lawyer talking in court talking about, he beat her up, so yeah. But I mean, okay. The judge was like, bro, you full-throatedly. That's the judge's quote. You full-throatedly stood there and said that Diddy is violent and you don't have no problem with that. Full-throatedly, sir. So Diddy's lawyer immediately, as soon as the judge left the bench, he went out talking to the media, hyping them up. This court never loses. The feds, they don't lose racketeering cases. And he said Diddy still showed up and he wasn't afraid. He said he'll get his life back. Winning is winning. This is a quote from him. Winning is winning. You live your life and you live a good life. Shh. If I'm Diddy, I'm kind of heated about this lawyer. Because you've seen Diddy's reaction when the article says that Diddy's reaction was his mouth dropped and his eyes widened when he realized he was going back to jail and his bail was denied. So he don't feel good about this at all. The lawyer feel hyped because his fee just went up. But Diddy still got to go face some time. So following his bail hearing, Diddy turned after the bail hearing. Mind you, the judge is still on the bench. This is why I don't know, man. I don't know what the judge, I think the judge already has an idea what he's going to do though. But right after the bail hearing, Diddy turned around, faced his family and told them, we're going to make it through this, y'all. I'll see y'all when I get out. Then he blew kisses to the 2 rows in the courtroom that were filled with his family and friends. He said, I love you all. Be strong. Just before being led out of the courtroom and back into detention, he said, I love you, Mom. Now, saying I love you is no problem. The I'll see you when I get out in front of the judge before you even been sentenced. Now, he is getting out. He is going to get out. If God forbid anything happened to him in jail before he has the opportunity to repent. But he is going to get out. But to say that out loud in front of the judge who has to sentence you, it shows the arrogance across the board. From Diddy to his lawyers, to his family, to the supporters, to the idiots in the comment section. Arrogant. Don't take life. He's proven exactly what the judge feels about him. When the judge makes that statement, ripping him apart, that's what the judge feels about him. I think we all could do well to learn a lesson in humility. Not be humble before other people, but be humble before God at all times. Diddy's lawyer continued talking and called Combs' verdict a, quote, great victory. Too much talking. Just go home, bro. Y'all doing too much. He ain't been sentenced. He's still facing 20 years. So Diddy's lawyer called today's verdict in the trial of the Diddy Combs case a, quote, great victory outside the courthouse in New York City. He said it's a great victory for Sean Combs. It's a great victory for the jury system. He touted the jury for getting the situation, quote, right enough. Diddy's lawyer said this as a quote. He said, one thing stands between all of us and a prison, and that's a jury of 12 citizens. He said, and we have a wonderful jury. They listened to every word, and they got the situation right, or certainly right enough. Basically, bro said they got the situation, even though he got to go to jail and he might be, he facing up to 20 years. I mean, my fee go up regardless because I beat a racketeering case. That's all he care about. I'm telling y'all. Lawyers are selfish. Lawyers are selfish. All he care about is I represented Sean Combs. I could put that on my resume and I beat a racketeering case by the feds. I could put that on my resume. He don't care how much time Diddy gets. I'm sorry, he don't. He just wanted this this is a resume builder for this lawyer. I would never hire this lawyer though. I don't know, man. This is so. The jury acquitted Combs on the trafficking charge and the racketeering conspiracy, and then Diddy's lawyer called him innocent. He's not innocent. The fact that you call him innocent, the judge is going to go home, read all these articles about what this lawyer said, because you got to think we don't see Diddy's lawyer, but the judge looks at him every day in court during this trial. He's going to look at Diddy's lawyer for the sentencing. He's going to look at Diddy's lawyer for next week's hearing on Tuesday to determine the scheduling. He's looking at Diddy's lawyer, and he has the ultimate decision. People are like, oh, it's going to get ran concurrent. The law says that the judge has discretion. He does not have to run anything concurrent. That's just the facts. That's the law. The judge has the choice to say, you know, I'm going to run these two concurrent with each other. But the judge also can say, I don't want to run them concurrent. I want them to be back to back. I want you to serve 10 here, and I want you to serve 7 on the second one. The judge can do whatever he wants. Why is Diddy's lawyer doing all this? Because he don't really care about Diddy. This is the same, by the way, I just came to mind. This is the same lawyer that was on the TMZ documentary, kind of like, yo, I don't know why Diddy won't take the deal. I don't know why he won't take the plea deal. I don't know what's wrong with him. Y'all tell me. I don't know. I can't convince him to take it. Like, allegedly. You know. It's the same lawyer, allegedly, that was doing all that on the. Why are you on a TMZ documentary when you got the trial coming up at that time? I don't know. But he seemed, in my opinion, he seemed like he was leaning towards like, yo, why Diddy won't take the deal? Now he's super hype and arrogant. This dude is crazy. So one of Diddy's lawyers, Tenny Garagos, maintained that Diddy has never sexually assaulted anybody. And legally, you can say that. Said, I've been saying this for months. We've said it with each other, with each lawsuit that came out that was proven true. The media got it wrong about Sean Combs every single day for nearly 2 years. She said today outside the courthouse. So she's saying, if I'm Diddy, I'm telling my lawyers, hey, y'all chill out, man. We not home. I'm not going home today. But you got to think, they thinking that Diddy gonna get bail. Diddy got denied bail. Said Combs was found guilty on the 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution, but it was acquitted of the most serious charges. We know that. I just think that his lawyers need to shut up. That's my personal opinion. If it was my lawyers, I'm begging them to shut up. Please shut up. Please don't say nothing to me nothing about me. Keep my name out of everything until we get sentencing. And he knows. So that's what we got, dog. You guys seen the information. We don't have no community hour because we out of time. Normally I come on here and I'll give you guys a lesson about, what we can learn from these situations, because I never want you to watch a Will Evans live stream and only be entertained. I always want you to be informed and educated with something that you can take in your own life, because real life is not the internet. These comment sections, when I turn this camera off and I get off this live stream, man, I go home to a beautiful house. I go home to a beautiful life. I go home to my beautiful family. I'm about to go eat a 5-star dinner tonight. This ain't even going, I don't even think about this when I turn these cameras off. And I want you guys to be the same way. I want you to get off these cameras. When this stuff turn off, go back to your beautiful life. You've seen what it was. You learned something from it, and we move on. That's all I got for you guys on this one. I'll have to let you guys know if any updates come through. Hit that like button on your way out. And until the next live stream, Urban Legend with Evans, y'all know what it is. Love and God bless.